they've worked their way through just too much art, too much. Here. Greetings my friends, and welcome to this campaign summary. Now, ever so often every couple of sort of episodes we sort of have a summary for those of you who may have just come into this campaign from afresh, who have maybe just started to watch the campaign and want to sort of catch up with where we are at the moment. And there's also those who are sort of regular followers of the campaign, just so we can put down what the council's plans and proposals were on sort of paper, as it were, in inverted commas, so we actually clarify and solidify what our plans are for the future. So it's going to be a sort of a brief summary here of what we've done and where we hope to be within the future. So we're going to start off with the Don. Now, a vast majority of our time, and indeed, as you can see, a number of our forces have been locked down here within the Don here. Now, the primary reason we did this was because, as you can see here, the Germans had a massive amount of forces here, which, if unlocked, could potentially cause us a lot of trouble, especially in the east. Now, you might think, well, the German forces here are pretty much in the Urals. They're in the furthest east you could possibly go within Russia, and they're not going to cause you any problems. But the reason was, the council saw the problem way in the past. I mean, you know, maybe 15-20 years ago, this sort of problem has been brewing, and we've held down the Don for a number of years, a long time. It's been a big commitment on our part. Over that time, as the battles have ensued, the council has sort of become more and more sort of convinced that we need to pull out of the Don. Now, we've had a really brutal fight once again with the Germans. We gave them a sound thrashing. They lost nigh on 15,000 men for the loss of just under 2,500. So that, you know, as you can see already, with that sort of ratio, we have really given the Germans a sound thrashing. However, as you can see, the distances we're involved here for us to reinforce the Don are vast. But the Germans don't have that problem. As you can see here, we've already got 3, which is effectively an army group here, of fresh forces ready to move down. Now, where they're getting these forces from, I have no idea. Now, as you can see, the Germans control as I said, the Urals are vast. This vast majority of sort of the furthest reaches of Russia. There's been some kind of agreement here between the Russians and the Germans in terms of the Germans getting a huge amount of Russian land, and that's enabled them to really put forward a lot of forces here, which we wouldn't be able to normally do. As you can see, we've got this German force here moving in, and it is at full strength as well. And we're not talking about militia; we're talking about line infantry here, and lots of cannon. You've then got these two forces here. Again, look at the cannon here, the depth the Germans are able to bring into bear here. Perhaps this one has the same quality as the others, but however, they're able to reinforce very, very quickly. We, on the other hand, have just about brought this army in, and believe me when I say it took a long time to be able to get the forces into position, and indeed to travel all the way from the homeland, because so much of our military assets are currently locked in a brutal war with the Germans in the west, that we simply do not have the assets available to move 3, 4, 5 army groups into the Don and pretty much destroy all the Germans. We don't have the time, and we don't have the assets and the sort of military capability at the moment to do that. Even though we are, without doubt, one if not the strongest military power, we're still fighting on multiple fronts. And we're fighting multiple fronts against a single enemy, and we also have other enemies we're also got to fight as well. And if Spain declares war upon us as well, and Spain really is a titan, as you can see down here, Spain has vast resources at disposal, and elite armies as well. So with that in mind, the council really is pushing for us to withdraw from the Don, and I think that is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to make the decision to pull out from the Don. Now, that's going to be a twofold operation. The first is we have to get the resources, the ships in here, the combat fleet, to sort of guide and sort of help the troop ships away from here without any hindrance at all. We cannot afford to lose a single army from the Don whilst they're embarking, whilst they are sailing to their new destination. Thankfully, we have the single largest fleet in the world. We dominate all seas, all trade ports, all trade lines. There's nothing in the world that can match the US Navy. Not a single thing. Our battle fleets are, without a doubt, the singular greatest thing on the seas. It really are. And just to prove the point, here is what remains within the Black Sea of German Navy. It's these here, these gentlemen here, as you can see. They've got one first rate here, a third rate, fifth rate, and a brig of war. Similarly, they've got to a fourth rate and a fifth rate. That's what they have within the Black Sea. So within this small, as you can see, sea compared to the others, of course, compared to the Atlantic and Mediterranean, they've got these assets, these naval assets. We, however, have these, which are effectively used to transport and to bring in this army. We then have this massive battle fleet here, which is, you know, as you can see here, already jam-packed with steamships as well, heavy first rates, and carronades, frigates as well, just add that little bit of depth and sort of maneuverability. We also have here, which is currently stopping and preventing these Ottoman forces crossing from Istanbul into Anatolia, a combat fleet par excellence. It really is. And Admiral Zach George here, of course, is in charge of this. A wonderful admiral, he really, really is. And similarly, we also have a sloop here, and we have these small, very small combat force here of ships, 3 heavy first rates, that delivered this army into Anatolia here, which is going to strike against Bursa here, which we have. We're going to try and clear the sort of the rear of our lines here, try and clear them out. And we're trying to reinforce Ankara here, which it really has been a sort of a pivotal battleground, drawing in massive amounts of Ottoman and Mamluk forces. We have a plan to deal with the Mamluks, we'll discuss that later. So we're going to move in additional forces into the Black Sea. We'll probably use this navy, this battle fleet here, to guide and protect these armies as they withdraw. Now they're going to have to go somewhere to replenish, because they were and have been in a series of brutal battles here in the Don. So we will be evacuating the Don. Then the question sort of comes about, whom do we give the Don to? We can't simply hand it over to the Germans. That would not be right, because the sacrifices made here would be in vain. France has come up. Now France is at the moment neutral with us. They are allied with Germany. I believe they are allied with Germany. And let's quickly... Yes, they are indeed there. So they're allied with Germany. So that would mean we're giving the French that, but and indirectly Germany would benefit from that because, of course, they trade with them, and etc., etc. I believe they've got trade with them. Let me just quickly, with their allies, they probably got trade with them. Oh, they don't. So they're not trading with them at all. Of course, there has been the call for us to give it to Norway. However, I believe that Norway is at war with... No, they're not. They're not at war with Germany at all. Now that could be a possibility. If we give Norway the Don, mind you, would they be able to hold on to it? It might be better if we give it to France, because that would at least keep the Don out of the German hands, although they'd be able to pass through it. But if we give it to Norway, Germany wouldn't be able to move through it at all. It would prevent these forces from moving through. That's something to consider at least. But we will be evacuating the Don and all these forces here. Now, there's then the situation of where do these forces go. Now, there's been a call for us to strike at the Ottoman Empire with these forces. So in other words, bringing them to Ankara, resting, replenishing them, and then using them to attack the Ottomans and effectively wipe the Ottomans out, which we could do. It only requires to take Georgia and Armenia, and the Ottomans would be gone, and also Istanbul, of course. But look at the Istanbul garrison, it is vast. Although they are losing forces, but still, that would be a fight that would consume these forces here. We could, of course, land in Patras, and then replenish and repair in Patras, and then we could possibly strike, and this has come from the council, we could then strike at the southern base here of the German forces. Now, as you can see, the Germans have sort of gathered forces here to push against us here from the south to north. So they're pushing against Hungary. If they break the Hungarian line, they will effectively then be able to meet up with these forces that are behind the line here and start to sort of assail and assault these forces here, which we can't. We've just committed so much to getting to where we are at the moment. We can't allow the Germans to come back. So you can see we've got this sort of inverted bulge here, where you have our forces, which sort of, the bulge is here in Hungary, and then you have the German forces with a bulge upwards here, pushing into sort of the Hanoverian, sort of Berlin, sort of Dresden area, Prague. So you've got this inverted bulge where you've got this opposite of each other here. We are in the process of sort of bringing Stuttgart will be under our control. As you can see here, we've got these forces down. That's a given. That will fall. There is nothing to defend it, even if they move forces in. We can then seal off this from Spain, then move against Munich. We need, council has called us to take Munich up as quickly as possible, the last sort of capital here within the west here of the German forces. But then we're going to have to sort of effectively eliminate these forces here. So bit by bit we're going to have to fight our way through all these forces, unless they retreat backwards, of course. But if we could use those forces from the Don, and the council again has recommended this, that we use them to strike into Bosnia and strike into Bulgaria. So we sort of effectively land here in Bosnia, take Bosnia, and then sort of strike eastwards with those forces, capturing these lands, taking Belgrade, and effectively cutting off their base of supplies, materials, of men, of being able to really sort of rip away their core base that's providing all these troops and supplying them indeed. And that just might bring this war to an end, because it has been an absolute brute. Now they do have Minsk here, which means us moving against Russia. Now we could move from here, from Poland, into Belarus, which we probably would do, but it's a very, very small front line we'd have to move into to take Minsk. But we could probably pull an army group away and move it into Minsk and take that. But we do have the possibility now of being able to eliminate the German forces once and for all. I mean, look at the depth here of our forces. We've committed a vast amount of our forces here. As you can see, We are making the final push now. We've got France here as well, in Galicia. So that would be a real fight there. We also have Syria, and we have most of the Middle East under our control. Now the Mamluks need to be dealt with as well. If we take Baghdad, then we'd effectively eliminate the Mamluks entirely, which is what we're going to do. We're going to be moving it across the Syrian desert and taking the Mamluks out. This will eliminate these Mamluk troops here. We can also then move in and systematically destroy these Ottoman forces behind us here, and then move against Armenia and Georgia and eliminate them entirely from the battle. That would be absolutely fantastic. That's what we're going to do there as well. We've got to keep an eye on Spain. As you can see, we've got this large border with Spain here on the west, but here is the principal crossing here, and indeed here on Hanoverian front. So we've got to be able to keep enough troops in to deal with that as well. So the council really is calling for us to push, and we've also got, as you can see, I believe this here, yes, we've got the Marine Corps here moving in. Now the Marine Corps is going to be staged just past Vienna here, Austria, as we intend to strike hard against the Germans here and use the Marine Corps as sort of that battering ram to push in against them from north to south, and then use the forces from the Don to move south to north and sort of meet in the middle and crush these German forces that have absolutely been a thorn in our side for so many years. We have got intelligence gathering capabilities here, but where the Germans are getting these forces from, I have not a clue. But they do have depth, strength and depth here. We're also at war with Venice, which is something which is going to be we have to take a huge commitment to deal with Venice. It really, really will. And I'm not sure if they've got land. We've got a lot coming in here from the Italian state, so they are friendly with us. But I'm wondering if the Venetians have a land here with Venice. Let's have a quick look at Venice here. And yes, indeed. So they're trading with Spain. That's how they're able to keep these forces in good stead here. So that, my friends, is pretty much where we are standing at the moment. Mainly dealing with the Don, pulling these forces out of the Don, putting the forces we need in to deal with this. So we're going to use this battlefield here. We're also going to have to make sure we've got enough ships to bring these gentlemen back, probably to Patras here, or even to Ankara. Again, we shall wait the council's advice. There's also been a call for us to start to strengthen the homeland here, because if we go to war with Spain, there's every chance that Spain might launch an invasion attack against the United States here, against the homeland here. So the council have called for us to reinforce our defences along sort of the main strike points that the Spanish might attack us, particularly in South America, which we have held, and particularly Cuba, which has really been an absolute behemoth in terms of its production value for us. And also South America, which seems to be the primary target for many of our enemies in the past. We keep an eye on that as well. But look at that, we've got a massive amount coming in and out of here, just from the Caribbean alone, let alone from the North America itself, the homeland. As you can see here, 84,000. Absolutely incredible. So we've still got Great Britain as an ally. They haven't moved. They've been a solid, staunch ally, so we're going to leave Britain alone for the time being. That pretty much is where we are at the moment, my friends. We've got Stuttgart, of course, we're going to be using as an attack. We're going to take that. We're going to then push it against Munich. We're going to get the Marine Corps here, which is then going to push in against the Germans from here. We'll either, depending on what the council decides, we'll either then be moving from Chakask here and pushing and moving in straight into the Don, or we'll be moving to Patras, reinforcing, replenishing, and then moving against the German forces here in the north, in the south here in the Mediterranean, then moving, trying to push up south against them. So trying to squeeze the last remnants of these forces and deal with their ability to produce troops and materials and guns. But that, my friends, an Ankara is going to stay as it is at the moment, just held down where we deal with Mamelukes. If we deal with the Mamelukes, we can then unleash these forces upon the Ottomans, and we will be moving against Tbilisi. We probably have a naval invasion here, and we'll also be dealing with these German ships here as well. But my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this a little bit of a summary here, just to sort of refresh our minds what's happening, and also those who may be new to the campaign, and of course those veterans of this campaign, just to get your opinions back on what we think we should be doing here. But I hope that's helped, my friends, just to clarify things, and also for my own mind as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, as always, my friends, please leave your comments coming down below. But back to the main campaign. Greetings and welcome to episode 129 of my Empire Total War Darth mod USA campaign. And I hope, my friends, you enjoyed the sort of introduction here, the episode summary, as it were. Just bringing together everything we've done so far, and most of the council's advice and plans being brought into that. So we have a clarity here of what we're aiming to do. And to jump straight in here, we are going to withdraw. We're going to evacuate the Don. Now, we've been fighting in the Don for a very long time. The council, the majority of the council, has called for us to actually move out of the Don with all due haste. We're going to do that, my friends. Now, we do have these German fleets down here, these German sort of ships down here. Only a few, like a small flotilla here. Nothing really to be concerned about. We're going to ignore those for the time being. I'm wondering if we can get these ships in here. As you can see, we do have this small fleet here. If we were to combine them together with these here and move them up to here, we can probably withdraw, but they're trapped there, which is absolutely fine. We've got this fleet here ready to attack, so the Germans interdict us at all. But what we will do is can we move past? We'll have to move our main combat fleet within the Black Sea out of the way here. And then we can, oh gentlemen, please, thank you. We shall move thus. Look at that, look how many Russians are there, my goodness me, that's a stupendous amount of Russian forces there. We've got to get ourselves out of here. And hopefully to Batras. Now Batras is just going to be a small staging area where we're probably going to pull this army, and indeed this army that's here as well, out with the Don garrison as well. Our main goal has to be putting an end to the sort of the German redoubt in the south here. This is where they're getting all their forces. You can see they're starting to move in great numbers up here. Where they're getting these numbers from, I have no idea, but we've got to end it. Some in the council even calling for us to take Greece, but at the moment we're going to keep our principal goal on here. First thing is to do is to pull out. I know we could probably sort of embark our troops here, but I want to do this orderly. So we're going to do this step by step here so we don't get caught by the Germans here. We've got, how many armies we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 here. And we have 6 ships here, so we're going to be able to get out here. We've got 7, I beg your pardon. With that in mind, I think we might have to deploy a carronade frigate here to join this fleet. Then we'll be using this fleet, will then be guarding this as it travels to Patras. We shall take no prisoners, my friends. Believe me, if anybody attacks this fleet, they will suffer the full force of the United States Navy, which is dominant upon the waves, believe me. Now, let us pull out of here. Let's get these ships ready, actually.
Ready and waiting. Ship shape. Yes. Way anchor. Any further orders? Ship shape and Bristol fashion, Captain. Set sail.
That's one army out. Bomb catch, the vengeance.
Ship's orders. Ready for order. Ship's orders received. Sir.
Second army on board. We shall be leaving the Don in good order. And, my friends, with all due haste. Let's have the captain here, heavy first rate. I know this really is a bitter pill to swallow, I don't mind saying, but it's something we have to do. We fought hard here.
Yes, Captain.
We're not going to allow
Where to, Captain?
the sacrifice of these gentlemen here to be in vain, where these armies are sort of trapped
Yes.
in the Don and effectively demolished by continuing German forces, which are continuing to reinforce. I don't know where they're getting those reinforcements from, but they're getting them from somewhere.
Orders.
Serapis,
Any orders? Ship
course.
shape. Fleet ready.
Serapis.
Yes, sir.
We should have one more army, which is the defenders of Kiilstofte, the Don, who've been there for a number of years defending. They really have done an absolute one. Look at that. They've been absolutely battered into submission, Ion, but they still held strong, sir. We should have the carronade here, the Wabash.
Ship's orders. Still ship shape. Embarking. Forward.
Sir.
Make camp. Aye, sir. All the way.
And last, but by no means least,
Sir.
Joining the
Sir.
fleet, sir. Weigh anchor.
so we have finally evacuated the Don. Now, it really does. Now, I don't believe, so you can see Spain is still hostile, so is Sweden. I don't believe that Norway, is it Norway aren't at war, but they are at war with the Ottomans. That's the biggest problem. Are they at war with are they at war with Russia? No, they've got actually trade with Russia. And they're allies with Russia. Oh, they're allies with Russia as well. Now they're at war with the Ottomans. Now the chances are the Ottomans might strike against them. Move out, but mind you, we have effectively pinned the Ottomans into position. We might give the Don to Norway. Now I know that's a big ask there. We could even give it to France, either Norway or France. Now, France are indifferent with us. We're not really worried about that. Now, but they are at war with Spain. But they are allied with Prussia, with Germany. So, and they're at war with the Mamelukes as well. I wonder if we give that to France, because if they're allies with Spain, that will be diplomatically good for us. But also, if they could probably get a force there and attack the Mamelukes, because they would be within striking range of the Mamelukes. I'm not saying they could. We could give this to France for a neutral. It would benefit. Would it benefit us at all? That's the problem. No, it wouldn't. But it would benefit Norway. But Venice as well. That's the only concern. But Dagestan is at war with them. Remember, Dagestan does have a army here, so they would simply march in here. Dagestan. They would get the Don. No, we give it to France. Gentlemen, we've got Karelic. Oh, look at that. No. I know this sort of goes against the grain. It does go against the grain with me as well. I must be fair. We're going to give it to France. We're not going to ask for any payments, anything like that at all. We're just going to give them the Don and be done with it. Done. And we also friendly now. Now France has got that. Now we call for us to evacuate here with all due haste. We're going to move to the Patras. Got to watch out for these here. So with that in mind, we will send this fleet down to here. What do they have in here? Irrespective of what they have down in here. Can these fleet reach that without? Yes, they can. Wonderful. That's one ship and one army safe. Second army on its way. Oh, for goodness sake, gentlemen, for goodness sake, what is that? That always happens when you're trying to move these gentlemen around. That's an absolute waste.
On our way, Captain. Waiting further
And they
orders.
can stay there. This army will move out.
At the ready. Make ready. Any orders?
The order was to disembark, sir.
Setting up camp. Make camp. Heave away, boys. Setting up camp.
They quite can't. Yes, I know. They quite clearly can't disembark yet. Absolutely fine. Let's see if we can get them there at least unhindered.
Ship's orders, Captain.
At least they're on board here. We're just going to replenish and repair them here. Let's move the ship out of harm's way.
On our way, Captain.
Another army, which we shall send around. Excuse me, friends, we have a beverage of tea.
Still ship shape.
To refresh the palate.
Fleet.
I'm not going to leave any ships
Under sail.
on threat here at all. Every army must reach safety here. Come on now, gentlemen.
Any orders?
Disembark. You have. Well done, gent. No, they haven't been able to disembark.
Orders? This is a ship, sir. On our way, Captain. Halt. Set
They can't
sail.
disembark either. We're going to have to secure that. I think some of them have run out of the ability to move once they come off the ships.
Setting up camp.
And again there as well.
Officer on deck. Aye, aye, Captain.
So with that in mind, we're going to have to be fully prepared. We are going to be prepared here. Nothing is going to come within range of these ships. We're going to have them protected at all times.
Waiting further orders.
If they want to fight, then have that fight. We're also going to make sure that we
Any orders?
raise here. Thank you, gentlemen. 24,000. We've got 30,000 in the bank here as well. Now these gentlemen here have landed in Ankara. We could actually use them, but then again, I'm not.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Got Ankara pinned down here. The council's also asked us to move against the Mamelukes here, which we are going to do. We do have this Mameluke force here, which I think we can probably deal with.
Sir. Your orders?
And in fact, we move these gentlemen to.
March! Ready and waiting. Ready and waiting order.
I think we can deal with these. We don't want any of these harassing our lines.
Strength and honor. March! Yes.
So the city is okay
Ready
there at the
for-
moment. We'll send these
Sir.
gentlemen. Actually, we'll send them up to Syria here.
Forward! For crown and country!
It's going to be a very, very long walk. No. Straight across the Syrian desert. Straight across. If they wish to go that way, they can cross here at the river crossing and move along the border here. We're going to go for Baghdad, as the council has also requested to
Ready for
remove them once and for all.
Yes.
Gentlemen will go in here. Deal with this Mameluke fleet here as well at some point, and the Mamelukes here as well. If they want to attack us, they should be attacking into a very heavily fortified position, which is absolutely fine. Now we've got the majority of our forces out of the Don, and we now have the Don as French, which means the Germans can now loiter around all they want. If they wish to deploy against us here, we shall be prepared. Warsaw is not without its defenders. In fact, what we can do is actually
Ready and awaiting order. At the ready. Men,
Increase these armies. Let's get these armies ready just in case they come around. For us here.
your humble servant.
The additional 24 pounders. And we shall also, can we get some more cow? We can indeed. Cuirassiers, wonderful, sir. Now we've got the Marine Corps moving through as well, but ultimately what we need to do here, they can't move against us here. What do they have of any Venetians here? They don't have anything to match us here, nor here either. We've pretty much controlled all the sea lanes. Nothing's really going to get past us. But ultimately we want Stuttgart, and Stuttgart has been a thorn in our side in terms of us wanting to get down there. But we're going to immediately move in and we're going to besiege Munich. We're going to take Stuttgart. We need an army here.
Sir.
There's going to be one that could go on defensive duties.
Yes. Sir.
This has 3 cannon. I think it might be this army here. It has 1 cannon. It's got plenty of horse, but plenty of infantry. So we're going to actually...
Ready for battle.
Oh, Adam Ernok's force here is moving in. Surrender, sir. Ah, so they're going to stick this out and defend. Fair. Okay, then we shall assault. We'll just wait at the moment to continue siege. Then we shall assault them. They don't want to give up just yet.
Ready and awaiting order.
What will that drag in though? If we attack this army here with that army group, that's a potent force here. Many of the councils saying that I'm not aggressive enough, and I agree. I'm not really being aggressive enough here.
At the ready.
Can move these gentlemen around to here. We are going to strike hard against the Germans now. Let's get everything into position here.
Yes. Sir. Your humble servant. At the ready. Sir. Immediately. Troops, make ready. Halt. Make ready. March. Can't do that, General. You ask too much. Not possible, sir. Impossible, sir. Not possible, sir. Sir. By the left. March. Your humble servant. I cannot do that.
We've got a lot to do here. We've got to take care of all of these forces, these German forces here. Oh, look at that. This force has to be dispatched as well.
March! Harvesting supplies. Your humble servant. Yes. Forward! March! Yes, sir. Forward! March!
This is our strike force to hit back against the Germans here. We do need to clear all of these out of the way. We really, really do. But I think we need to take Stuttgart first. I think that's our main calling here. Let's assault.
Siege, sir.
Let's not wait any longer. We're going straight into assault. Stuttgart is going to be ours this year. We're not waiting any longer. It's going to fall right now. And if Spain comes at us for it because of that, then so be it. So we should be ready for them. We've only got 1 cannon available here, which is absolutely fine. We're going to assault them hard. We've only got 1 battery here, so we're going to have to use it pretty wisely here. But I think we're going to assault them. Thankfully it's a clear day here. The topography here is... Oh, some undulation here. This hill here would be absolutely fantastic to pour fire down upon them. Possibly here even, but as you can see, it's at 15% already, so a whole gap has already been made. So fighting has already taken place here, but we haven't repaired the wall just yet. Is there any other damage anywhere else? 9% here. 611% here, but that's where the most damage is here. We shall bring down that wall there. We shall bring the artillery to the fort, or what we have, and we don't have very much, but we shall use it to our advantage. We are going to surround the fort, and we're going to attack it. We're going to attack it with 4 regiments on each side. And actually, you can tell how old this army is. It's still got numbered regiments. We lose the 47th, 51st, 78th, 112th on this left flank here. To moving against them, we're going to move from into the back end, the rear of them, with this force here. Hidden, ready to assault. We are not going to allow this. Is General. Yeah, look at that, General Ernux, one of our finest commanders. He's going to take the siege of Stuttgart, and he's going to break that siege, sir, and bring the city under our control. Now I think we'll send. We have plenty of. I think we'll send 2 regiments in with General. With this force here. Just so if they take the gates, we can move the cavalry inside as quickly as possible. I think we'll also have 117th and these 3 regiments here along this front here, attacking the side here. I know we're attacking possibly, 2 sides that looks like the same side, but we're not actually. We'll also send 2 regiments in with these gentlemen as well here if they break those gates. If they can get up on these gates here and bring them under our control, the cavalry really would be able to punch through 2 gates. A frontal assault might seem a little unnecessary unless we put 2 regiments. 2 regiments of gentlemen. What the blazes is going on here? Thank you. These gentlemen will have right on this side, so we can attack this flank here. Can we hide in this brush here? Can we get both in here? Look at that. We'll send 1 cavalry regiment with these gentlemen, and we shall have the remaining 3 regiments here, ready to draw fire at the front. It's a strategy that doesn't really sit well, but we have to break this siege. General Ernuk down here. Let's begin. Come on now, gentlemen. So we can take them down a peg or 2 here. A couple of good shots up on them will do absolute wonders. Come on now, artillery. If we had several batteries, this would be over, but we don't. Let's try and bring this wall down, take as many of them as we can with us. Those 8-inch mortars are an absolute menace. Just going to get ourselves strategically aligned here, ready to attack. We just briefly flickered upon their radar then. There it is. Now we know the range here, so that's the range here. I'll be damned. That's their range right here. Might have to attack from several locations at once to really throw that off. Come on now, gentlemen, open that hole up here. We can send some cavalry through as well if needs be. Gotta be steady here. Gotta be patient here. Come on, gentlemen. Use the cavalry to throw off the mortars. If you didn't have those mortars, this would be over. Those mortars can do brutal damage here. Patience, my friends. Patience is a virtue here. We have to be patient. Bring down this wall, then switch to quicklime. Take all of these in one. Imagine taking all these in one hit. What a wonder that would be. Come on. Oh, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Gentlemen, load up faster. That's some wonderful work there. They're getting ready. Oh, good, look at that there. If we could get a direct hit on this here. goodness, my friend. Even with one battery, we can do a lot of damage here. Oh! Oh my goodness me! Now that was a strike and a half there. My goodness me! What a wonder! Because if this goes right, we're going to strike hard here. But patience really is a virtue here. Come on, gentlemen. Let's have you firing here. Come on now, lads. We are slowly but surely dwindling the numbers here. Just gotta bide our time here. Look at that. That regiment has been completely dismantled. If we could take care of some of these here, then this is ours as fort. Just a full garrison. Just about reached this here. Come on, gentlemen. Another thing, the wall is in the way here. Take it back, take it back. Can we get a shot on off those as well? Patience, patience. We're just going to gather these forces up ready here. Fire on cannon. Come on. That's more like it. That's more like it. Don't interrupt the line of fire, gentlemen. 27 men left. Let's get in there. That is going to hurt. That is going to hurt. Oh, that's hold. That's gonna hurt, my goodness me. Oh gosh, look at that, that's a heck of a battery, that force stick. That's why I loathe and detest mortars, because they're just horrific. Look at that! What a shot! Get those grappling hooks up, sir. Come on, gentlemen. We've taken a heck of a battle here, look at this. Gotcha, sir. Yeah, not so tough now, are you, sir? It's now US territory, sir. Double time, gentlemen, it's not a Sunday stroll. Within combat, I don't think so, sir. Let's fill up this viper's nest, sir. Using our grappling hooks to escape. What the blazes is going on there, sir? Get up that slope. You break, don't you break. That's cost us dear though to get this fort, but we swore we'd take Stuttgart and by Jove, we've done it, sir. Yes, we've taken Stuttgart. Stuttgart is finally ours. Wow. Only 686 lost. Absolutely destroyed. Look at that. Line infantry did the bulk of the work there. What an absolute wonder. Well, that was absolutely fantastic. Stuttgart is ours, sir. Look at that. At last, the city falls now into our hands. Let's replenish and repair. That means now we can strike into Munich. But if we hit Munich, we're going to be hit with bringing a lot of these forces in here. But I think we can attack. We can attack on multiple fronts. We can tie down quite a number of these forces here. I think with that in mind, I think we're going to strike against this force here. We strike it. Actually, if we hit this force here, it'll draw in quite a lot of fighters.
Sir.
Oh, look at that.
At the ready. sir.
I think we're going to strike with this force here and draw out this. Yeah, let's do this.
Yes, sir. Forward! For crown and country!
Still replenishing that fight, that force there. That's absolutely fine.
Immediately. At the ready. Ready for order. Anything more? Mark. Yes. Your humble servant.
We're going to move in here and attack. Going to draw these forces in here.
Strike them!
Oh, look at that. That's more like it. We've got 9,000 men here. And we're going to take this fight next episode, my friends. But that is where we're going to end this episode. We have achieved a number of goals here. Taken Stuttgart. We've evacuated the Don. And now we're moving in against this last pocket here of German resistance in the north. We are going to assume the dominance here in Germany, in where all our troops are, my friend. This bulge is going to be wiped out in its entirety, I can promise you that, no matter what the commitment requires. And now we have the council has said many times you're not aggressive enough, Mahler, and I agree. And that's why we're going to push hard now against them here. Could this be the beginning of the end? I know I've said this a number of times, but could this be the beginning of the end of the Germans now? With this time we outnumber them, not only locally, but also globally we outnumber them. And if we can get those forces from the Don into the Balkans, then I think we can start to pull the feet from underneath the German Empire at last. But my friends, I'm going to end this episode here. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, as always, please keep your comments coming down below. Thank all of you for your wonderful advice and plans. You really have been the guiding force in this campaign. And this, my friends, is entirely down to the council. Where we are now is entirely down to the council and their wonderful, wonderful advice. Like, thank you all for that, my friends. Whatever you're doing, please be safe, my friends. But until next time, bye for now.